I don't know who's in, but sorry, running about 2 minutes behind. Who's in here? Don't know who's in. We'll give it a few minutes. And can you hear me okay? Who's in? Okay. Give it a few minutes, y'all. I don't know who's in here. If y'all just watching, welcome to the channel. I gotta do laundry. I was putting up some groceries. I've been up since 7. So we're gonna talk about some stuff, but I'm waiting. I'm gonna give it a few minutes. And then I'll talk about it regardless. Okay. If you come in, give us a like, thumbs up, share it out. And we'll get in here. I don't know who's on. Y'all will get into it. We're going to give it about 5 minutes to let people get in. I was running about 2 minutes behind, so just getting everything set up. I got to put my couch together today. I haven't done that yet. There's 2 big pieces, but I got to work on moving some stuff out of here because I've had boxes and bins in here for a minute. And when I get the couch together, I'll show y'all what it'll look like. Give it a few minutes and then I'll just, like I said, if nobody come in, I'm still going to talk about it. Oh, trying to do the live a little earlier than what I normally do. And get on here and just chit chat. I hope everybody else is having a good day. I got up this morning and I woke straight up at 7. So I felt like the Lord woke me up and I had a very interesting morning. I got up and then I went and had pho for breakfast. And then I needed to go to the grocery store. Well, yeah, I kind of needed to go. They have a pasta I like at Kroger. It's the private select, and they have a pasta you can't find in a lot of places. But if I make like a noodle stir fry or a noodle dish, I use this stuff called bucatini pasta. And the only place I've been able to find it is Kroger brand. I can't find it at Safeway. I can't find it at other stores. And granted, the Safeway and Kroger are going to become the same store. Not happy about that. Safeway high as hell. So Kroger is, well, they've been kind of high as hell too. But I only shop sales. So, but I got up this morning and did that, and then I went to the grocery store. Hey, PC gamer, what's up, baby? How you doing? I'm gonna get into it. I'm giving everybody a few minutes to get in because I just posted about maybe 30 minutes ago I was gonna do this today. How you doing today? And I'm just talking about heading out. I got up, the Lord woke me up about 7 a.m. this morning, which was, I realized was an intentional wake up because there were some things that transpired in my morning. And I ended up, I was trying to decide if I was going to get breakfast or do something here. And I went and got pho for breakfast and sat down and kind of thought out what I was going to do at the grocery store. But the grocery store, that whole situation was a meeting. It was a God-ordained situation. I'll get into that a little bit here too. But I got to the grocery store and then I had to get a money order for a bill. Went to the bathroom and then I walked the store and got the stuff I needed. Just the sales stuff. I'm a sales shopper. So I got all my sales stuff and I had planned not to spend more than $25. I did 31, so I went $6 over the budget that I had planned. But I'm very much a budget shopper, and because I've stocked, I don't need a lot. Mainly what I do is usually fresh foods, or right now I'm only on the meat or cold section. I'm only buying what I need to use. And then eventually somebody was asking me about the garden. I'm gonna get back there and mess with it, but I haven't done that yet. But there was a little situation that happened at the grocery store. I'll share it at the end of the video. And I realized there's what I call God-ordained moments. And I believe that was a God-ordained moment. Actually, 2 things that happened to me at that grocery store that were very interesting. Very interesting. So we're going to wait. I'm going to give it, it's only been 4:32, so I'm going to give it about 30 more seconds, and then I'm going to get into the subject. And hey, Jay, what's up? Hey, Mr. Leviticus 18:22. Hold on. Let me see. I got my word next to me. Why are you playing? You said Leviticus 18:22. And actually right now the class I'm doing for school is We're doing the covenants, and we're in the Old Testament, and we're going through all the covenants. And actually, the paper that it looks like I'll be writing at the end will deal with every last the Abraham covenant, the Noah covenant, the Moses covenant, or the Mount Sinai covenant, New covenant. Oh my goodness, Davidic covenant. So we're gonna go through all the covenants. And what I didn't realize, it's funny, and I'm enjoying the college thing because as I step back more from an analytical perspective and I start reading stuff, I realize, oh, almost broke my glasses, y'all. Almost broke my glasses. I'm like, oh, the covenant's built. So when you start one covenant, they start building on each other. I was like, and I just realized it. I had never, because sometimes when we're reading the word, we'll just read it and we don't read it maybe with a focus. So when I realized that we're focusing on the covenants, I start realizing every last one built on each other. So it's like, and I think it's because they were like children. And when you look at it, I'm like, okay, we're like children. So you have to kind of like, you give a child just a little bit and you say, okay, Bobby, don't do that. And then as they grow a little bit more, you start telling them what they can and can't do. So then they start building and growing, hopefully. Granted, most of us, we stay in the same. 1822. Let me see what it say. Let me see what it say. Let me see what it say. Y'all ain't got my glasses on. They're right there, but I am not. This is when you know you're getting old when you do this. You know what I'm saying? Hold on, I'm gonna see what it says. Because I ain't gonna tell you I know it by heart. You shall not lie with a male as with a woman. It is an abomination. Okay, he come with the word. Okay. Okay, this gonna get it. See, you coming with the subject matter. 1822, you shall not lie with a male as with a woman. It is an abomination. Nor shall you mate with any animal to defile yourself with it. Nor shall any woman stand before an animal to mate with it. It is a perversion. Okay, so thank you for the word. He came with the word. So speaking of covenants, because that's part of it, is when you get into the laws. So we actually just talked about that in my class too. So I'm going to talk about the pronoun thing. And I'm just going to say, and if somebody come in, some people may stick, some people may not. I'm being me. And I understand that this channel has made some huge changes from where I started and where I'm at now. So I make no bones about it. I am Christian. I'm following that now to the letter. It is very pronounced in my life. I have been in backslidden situations, not in backslidden situations, and I teeter-tottered. But at this point where I'm at in my life and what I have seen and what I have observed and what most of us should be seeing and observing, if we have any inkling of Christianity, most of us should be right now on alert, on high alert, based on the things that we're seeing in this world, in this life, and the things going on. If we're caught up into anything, like if we're caught up into the politics of it all, I'm right, I'm left, I'm green. If we're caught up into hating certain politicians, or you're looking at the wrong thing, you're being distracted. Don't get distracted. Be aware. Everything that is happening has ushered us to here. And here right now, for the Christian, we should be on alert. We should be like them tornado warnings, like we know things are brewing, and we should be on alert that something's coming. And for us, we're waiting for the trumpet sound because we want to be out of here prayerfully. I'm not somebody going to tell you I'm pre-tribulation, mid-tribulation, or excuse me, pre-rapture, mid-rapture. I'm not going to tell you any of that because honestly, this is where I'm at. I don't really know. I have been raised up in the thought process of the church was going to be raptured out of here before the madness. Yet we're in madness. How far in the madness we're going to go, I don't know. We all know it says the church is not, that we aren't meant for wrath. But where are we at when we consider it wrath in this whole process? Or God considers it wrath, should I say. So at this point, I don't know. I know Noah got on that boat, and I know that the storm was already brewing. I know that he sat on that boat for a minute, and he was in safety, but how long before the boat started sailing and moving and all, I don't know. I know he was sealed inside. I know he was covered, and even in the midst of madness, I know that God has a covering for us. That's what I know. Okay. So, how far Lot and his wife was coming out as his family, and his wife decided to look back because she was still too addicted to the city into the drama. Um, how far and all the wrath and everything was going on as they was heading out. How far into that? And there was madness they were living in that madness of that craziness of that city. So how far before God pulls you out of the craziness? I don't know, because it's pretty crazy right now. It's cray cray. Um, when 9-year-old babies get shot in schools and teachers, and that's not the only ones. I mean, granted, I'm not going to look just at the fact the person was in an alternate lifestyle, because we got plenty of people who just straight up crazy, and it doesn't matter what lifestyle they in, they just cray cray. Okay. So my subject, and I'm gonna have to deal with this very cautiously, because as we know, people are now monitoring videos and they're blocking them based on how you deal with content. And I'm going to deal with this in the most loving way I can and Christian way. I'm not going to be mean, but I'm going to deal with it as how I see it. And I'm going to ask for opinions for those who may get on here. Some may not come on till later. Some may watch it later. Put comments down below. Make sure you give us a like, thumbs up, and share it out if you feel it helps somebody. And thank you for the person who brought the word. Let me see, who was that said it? It was J-A-Z. All right. Thank you, J-A-Z. I don't know if you hear N-A-Z, but thank you. So I have not had to deal with pronouns being forced, with the exception of working with people who considered themselves in previous years transgender. Okay. So I worked with a person who was born female, and they decided they, or I'm going to say they, and I hate the word they, the individual, because that's the other part of the pronouns that is weird. And see, we're starting to incorporate this weirdness into, and I'm going to call it a little bit of weirdness, okay? And it's weirdness because this is not how we're trained to use the English language. It is not how we're trained when we're born as to what is what. And now we are having to alter our verbiage to fit other people's desires. Okay, I'm going to put it like that. With that, I'm going to say the same way you have the right to, I have the right to. And I have the right to not be comfortable with it. Okay. Will I respect if you want to be, if you're born a he and you want to be called a she? In the corporate arena, I have to do that. Okay. I have to do that for HR reasons now in the world we live in. Okay. Do I necessarily agree with it? I do not. However, I do agree with you have the right to. And I agree that God has given us all the free will to do whatever. The same way I don't agree with the fact that babies was killed, but that person had the right to go in that school and do it because they got the free will to do it. But they also got the right to be prisoned and be, unfortunately, deceased now because of the choices they make. We all have the right, and when I say right, I mean the free will to do what we want to do. But there are repercussions for all actions, okay? There could be repercussions. And when we look at repercussions, we look at them in negative. But you can have repercussions of a situation. You could sow something and reap a good thing. You can sow something and reap a bad thing. So there's going to be a sowing and reaping. We now have to take on somebody wanting to be called something that you physically with your eyes see that they're not in some cases. I can physically see, and especially for the ones who have not gone and had things changed, that Bobby is a boy, but he wants me to call him a she. Bobby is a boy, but he wants me to call him them, they, or anything but not he or she. And these are the pronouns by which I now have to change my mental mindset to call people. Now I'm going to share, I came out of the gay lifestyle. That was what I was in. That's honesty, realness. And In the day when I was around, and I'm in my 50s, there were groups that we did not include, but have now attached themselves to these groups and have now widely been accepted. And what they are doing is saying, well, we're ostracized, um, we're marginalized, we're discriminated against. There were ways in which the group was seen when you basically said that I feel I'm a boy, born boy, but I feel as if I should be a she. And I think they used to call it gender dysphoria. I think that's what it was called. And it was considered a psychological condition, okay? At least my understanding from what I know of it. Now we're saying, oh, no, no, yeah, but you know what? That's how they were born because they feel that that's what they are. Where I have issues is that I'm forced to say something that doesn't physically line up. And what we know as birth for people, and I'm just trying to see how I can put this, it's hard to look at somebody. So I'm looking at Johnny, who I can see is a boy. He's not even dressing as a girl. We got those too. Or they may dress like a girl, still have the beard, the mustache, but I want you to call me Jill. And when you respond to me, I want you to call me she. This is a hard cup of tea. It's a hard cup of tea, I think, for any of us to do. And while I, in Christian love, understand more than what the person who's going through it understands, because they don't understand some of the spiritual things behind it, it becomes tough for those of us who are forced to go along a thought process that doesn't have anything to do with me in that grand scheme. So, for example, I'm not the one who has the gender dysphoria. So, therefore, when I'm physically seeing you, you look like a she if you're a she, or you look like a he if you were born he. But you now want me to look at you and know that you want me to call you a she and you're a he, or a they and a them when it's only you. I'm going to say spiritually, for those of us who are Christians, somebody is very good at his job. Because the world that is not understanding spiritual things is jumping in hook, line, and sinker. The thing is that we have family members. Correct, PC Gamer. That's what I'm trying to say. And again, my heart goes out. We are trying to normalize something that it has been for years considered dysfunction. And I have family members who, they, again, the perversion on my father's side, we had sexual issues all in my father's side of the family. We got gay folks, got straight folks. So I knew where some of the generational curse came from. And then I'm a molest victim. So I knew where my thing with the gay thing came from. It came from that, plus probably some of the generational curses from my father's side, because my father has a lot of sexual perversion stuff in there. Especially when it came to either sexual addiction, or you got the gay folks in my father's family. We got it. I mean, it's all up in there, and other stuff. So we don't know the generational curse side if you're a molest victim. And like I have associates of mine, let's say friends, a couple of them. One of them, I'm gonna say more of an association. I knew the mother was a drug addict and traded him for drugs. So now he's gonna go. He's considered himself transgendered. He, which is gonna be a she. Um, is going has been told he has basically that he's transitioning to be a female. I can look in his eyes and see the brokenness. I already know where the issues come from. But because he's gone to doctors and even the psychiatrists, the doctors, oh, your gender dysphoria, and just accept it. You know, this is what it is instead of dealing with the why behind it. And so a lot of people are no longer dealing with the why. And then you have the psychiatrists, psychologists, and counselors who now are affirming that this is the normal. And now we're being forced into this normal. So here's where the struggle is, okay? If I meet a 20-year-old person, to me, this is almost the same, equating it the same way, even though they're going to tell me it's not. It is. I meet a 20-year-old person, and the 20-year-old person says, well, I feel like I'm 80. I'm looking at you, and you're 20. You're not 80. So am I supposed to give you senior benefits because you tell me you feel like you're 80? Am I treat you like a senior because you tell me you're 80? To me, that's the same thing. The other thing that this opens up is other doors. And the other doors it opens up, I don't really feel like I'm a human. I feel like I'm a Cocker Spaniel. So I want you to call me Rover. And I want you to pet me on my head. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just giving an example. So now I'm looking at a human being that tells me you feel like you're a dog. I feel like I'm a goat. I feel like I'm a donkey. I feel like I'm whatever. And so now, do I use those pronouns to describe you? It gets into confusion for me. And it opens up a broader door. Like I said, when we were in the gay lifestyle, we didn't accept certain things in my day. You had straight, you had gay. We didn't even look straight. We didn't accept bisexuals. We didn't like them either. Even in that group, we weren't feeling them. We were like, that's weird. Y'all freaky and y'all just want to be all, you can make up mind what you want. And most of the time we knew they were most likely gay. They were just using that as an excuse. And then the whole queer and all that other stuff? Yeah, we didn't do that. And then for whatever reason, all of a sudden in the last years, I'm like, what in the Sam? Because like I said, it's kind of like back in the day, you said prisoners had code of ethics. Like if you were in jail, the one thing you couldn't do, if they found out you were like a Chester the molester, boy, it used to be on in jails because they had their own code of ethics, their own moral code. Well, back when I was active in the community, in the gay community, we had our own moral code. All that's gone out the window. And the sad part is some of it is because we have family members who are in these lifestyles that we may love. Matter of fact, I was just at the grocery store. One of the guys who runs the Starbucks, he knows me. Very sweet. Very sweet. Obviously, he's gay as hell. Very flamboyant gay. Hey, girl. I'm like, how you doing? And I smile. Very nice person. However, I know, because I've been in a lifestyle, so I'm not judging you. You can talk about me all you want. I'm not judging you on the sense of I understand, because I understand there's deeper because of my spiritual background, especially now, and even when before. I understand there's deeper seated issues to why most people end up in the lifestyle. And some people can tell me, "Well, oh no, I wasn't this, that." We go back in your life, I can probably find where the foothold was that came in to why you're either gay, transgendered, queer, all that other stuff. I can find a foothold. And normally it starts somewhere in your childhood or in your generational line. I can find it. I can find it. It's not a doubt in my mind. The behaviors and things that we do, there is a result because we're born into sin. We're born into a life that brings in sin. And it's either through the family line or things that transpire that you'll be born into that will ultimately impact your adult days. Because the enemy is very good at what he does. His goal is to get you as a child and to impact that. Because if he's got you there, the rest of it, it's almost like domino effect. Your life is going to be special. Let me see what y'all saying. We just went through, at the company I'm with, we went through a class, and this is for the customer. And that if the customer tells me I'm talking to Shelly Smith and Shelly says, I want to be called he, We just went through the pronouns. I was like, it's amazing. And one of the guys who I don't even know if he's really Christian, he's like, Miss Shannon, are you are you reading this? He is so he's like, frick, I'm just not gonna call him a he, she, nothing. I ain't gonna say ma'am, I ain't gonna say sir. I'm just gonna say okay. And the training is basically what it told us to do. It's like, hey, don't even maybe so you don't mess up and the person don't get mad at you. I'm like, whoa. I'm reading this and shaking my head. It's very it's like you're forcing people into whatever you got going on. You have the right to. You have the right to. If you want to feel like a woman, then feel like it. If you want to call yourself Shelly Smith, that's fine. But until you, I hate to say, look like Shelly Smith, but you sound like Bobby Joe, it's going to be hard for those of us who's supposed to call you he, she, they, whatever. Also, when I'm looking at one person is not a they. One person is a you, him, her, but it's not a they. But then, really, if you really think about it in a Christian aspect, it might be a they because it might be dealing with some spirits on board. I'm just saying. So it has been deep right now trying to wrap my head around it. And I don't know because not a lot of people in here is going to open up a discussion. But you may watch this later. I'm wondering how many of you are having your hard time, just like that gentleman. He's not even Christian. And he's like, I can't even, he said, he's like, this is, and he was struggling with it. He's like, this is crazy. Well, right now they're telling us that if the person comes on, the customer comes on and explains to you their name, you can obviously hear it's a man, but he might say his name is April Smith. He's changed his name to April Smith and he wants you to call him her. We now have a section in the customer section to actually switch their pronouns to her. And it's a him. I mean, biologically a him. So it's like you're being forced into something that you shouldn't be forced in. So now I'm going to talk to my Christian folks. For us, just not to offend anybody, but for us, we doesn't line up with our biblical word. America has been a country of religious freedoms that seem to be now challenged. We'll leave that alone. But we're supposed to be a country of religious freedoms, which means we have the right to believe as we believe. However, in the corporate arena, some people are making decisions to walk away from jobs because they're like, look, I'm not going to get involved in this. I don't believe in it. And that's your choice. To me, and this, I've said it to my Christian group. If Bobby tells me he wants to be called a Cocker Spaniel, then hi Rover, hi Cocker Spaniel. That's your choice. But at the end of the day, I need to be in my mind and in my spirit knowing that this is not how God intended it. The problem is that because the enemy is very good at his job, we have people who claim to be Christians who are, how can I put this? They're allowing this to filter in as if it's okay and God is okay with it. And in their spirit, they think that it's okay. And therefore, they are aligning spiritually with some of this stuff. So like I know, I forgot, it's a famous singer, I think Amy Grant or whatever, she just did something for a niece or somebody and affirmed the situation, did the wedding for them and everything at her place. There was huge controversy with it because we can love people who are in, like I said, I got friends of mine who are active in the lifestyle, still love them dearly. But we know, no, Shannon's not there no more. And on top of that, I don't necessarily agree. Love you in the Lord. I got gnats, y'all. I got gnats. Love you in the Lord, but this ain't the way it's supposed to be. So they know where I'm at. However, it's their choice to do what they want to do, to be with who they want to be. I won't be at the wedding. and the wedding's not going to take place at my house. And I don't necessarily agree with it. I will be cordial. I will be kind. It's the same way, and it's the same way that what is it? People who's shacking up together, ain't married, having babies, and living like they married. I'm cordial. I'm kind. I'm not necessarily telling you I agree with it because I don't. We have made things, and even in Christendom, we're okaying a lot of stuff that's not, and we're not calling it what it is. All of it, regardless, heterosexual, homosexual, all that other stuff, does not line up with the biblical word. And thank you to, let me get my brother's name again, J.A.Z., who came with the word in the very beginning. And that's only one section of it. Now, the other thing I want to say, though, as Christians, we can't be hateful. That's the other thing. Some of us are coming across hateful. It's not to be hateful. So it's just like I just told the story of an associate of mine whose mother was a drug addict, sold him as a child for her drugs, or traded him as a drug for the sex with the drug dealers. And now he's a grown male who has gender confusion. Of course he does. He's been treated like he's a freaking woman, or being had sex with as a little boy, and been, by pedophiles. And of course you grow up into madness and confusion, because that was the enemy's goal all along. It's unfortunate. My heart goes out. So we have to be careful that we're not hateful, but we also have to understand this is not of God. It's like, for example, my sister, my half sister, in her prayers, I've noticed she uses something, and it's really prevalent among her generation, because something has infiltrated Christianity, and it's a lot of New Age metaphysical thought and words. So she'll use intentionality, gratefulness, and I'm not saying those aren't. English type words in what their initial purpose is. But in her generation, how they have infiltrated the church is from a New Age perspective. So when you're saying it, you're bringing in kind of that New Age thought, and it's infiltrated already into the culture to where you think that the Middle Eastern type thought processes, I'm going to sit and practice gratefulness. I'm going to practice intentionality. You think they think by doing that, they're lining up with a metaphysical thought, and you're incorporating this into Christianity. So for me, I try to stay away from it. It's sad because the word has one meaning, but what's behind it in a spiritual realm, and who's behind it, and what's being brought in is confusion. And it's telling, oh, well, Middle Eastern philosophies are okay. Yoga's okay. It's just exercise. It's just exercise. And there's nothing wrong with journaling and practicing gratefulness today. Because by me, of my own self, in their mindset, practicing gratefulness, I'm practicing spirituality. And it's a much bigger issue than that. Because what you're doing is you're saying, in a sense, God, I really don't need you. Everything that I need, I can initiate of myself. And some of this came in from parts of the things that came from Christianity from my time. And I didn't even realize it until I started looking like Word of Faith, prosperity gospels, because we look at this world around us and we get attracted to materialism and money and about us. And the problem is we need to go back to the garden and see why we're in the condition we're in, who we are. And when we look at that, we'll begin to understand a seed was planted in the garden between that interaction between Satan and Eve. Surely when you eat of that fruit, he didn't really mean that. And when you eat of the fruit, you're going to be just like God. So the thing that's been implanted is us, we want to be our own gods. That's what's been implanted in us. We want to be God. because that was what the enemy wanted. And so that was his way of causing a problem. So now I can practice intentionality and gratefulness, and I can initiate these things. Ciao, bye. No, sir, no, ma'am. Matter of fact, I'm born certain ways, and this is just, ciao, bye. I'm going to bring it down to this right here. So you are the creator of the microwave. And the microwave say, I don't want to nuke food. I want to toast it. I want to be a toaster. But your function is to nuke. No, I want to be a toaster. So I want you to call me a toaster even though I'm a microwave. And I know I'm doing this more on just this, but this is the mentality that we're now having to try to switch gears on. And again, ain't got nothing to do with me. That's you that feels that you're the microwave, but you want to be the toaster. And that's okay. You do you. I just can't come into the same arena with you because mentally it doesn't line up. It just doesn't. So I don't know how many of you are struggling with this, and I wonder because I know that some people are like, hey, I'm not doing this. There are people quitting their jobs behind it. We already have job shortages because it's something that it's almost being pushed. And people are like I said, this guy, he's not even Christian, and he was like, Miss Shannon, you read? Are you reading? Baby said, are you reading this? I said, mm-hmm. But see, like I said, I've dealt with it in person in a corporation. And that was back in 2012. We're now in 2023. And I did not know that it was going to get this deep. Although I'm not shocked because of where we're at in the time frame of time and the biblical season that we're in. But I will just strongly say, remain who you are. Know what God's agenda is. We can still be polite and cordial. We can love people from afar. We do not need to be hateful, but we need to make sure that we don't get deluded as to what's what and what's not what. But like I said, I can look at Bobby and know Bobby's Bobby, but Bobby want to be called Jill. Okay, Jill. But you also have to understand you're not condoning what Jill is saying they're doing. And I met a gentleman who was in the military, and he told me, he says, yep, they would tell us to march this way. And in my mind, I would keep telling myself the opposite because I realized what they were trying to do was basically they were trying to, what's the word you want to say? Make you all the same. And there's another word for it. I just can't, not accumulate. What's the word I want to use? Basically, it's like they were going to try to make you a robot. And there's another word I want to use. I just can't think of it right now. And so they want to bring you into this group. We're not on the same playing field. This goes back to the conversation in the Bible where God says, narrow is the way that leads to heaven, basically. But there's a path to destruction that's going to be wide. You got to really have a very narrow, and that may, to some people, you have a narrow mindset. Yes, I have to. Because based on the word I believe in, based on the both of God, I believe in what you're into is not correct. Do you? You have every right. You got the free will to do anything you want to do. That's the one gracious thing. The Bible says I shine my light on the good. Basically on good and evil. Sun rises on good and evil. But there will be a point where we all have to answer. And we need to be very, very careful. So I don't know how any of you feel. Put down in the comments if you're being forced into this pronoun thing. How are you going to handle it? How do you feel about it if you're Christian? How do you feel about it if you're non-Christian? This would be a good conversation. And I may bridge back to it if you put it in the comments. Again, I do not want my Christian folks. Don't be hateful. You going to hell. They may be. But at the same time, and I'm not trying to say we don't want to talk about heaven and hell, because that's the other problem of the church. The church no longer talk about heaven and hell. They don't talk about heaven. They don't talk about hell. They don't talk about neither one. They don't talk about Satan. They don't talk about God. It's all about how God has blessed them and how many cars they can get in houses and prosperity gospel and speaking over stuff. And that's not it. We need to be sharing who Christ is and that the Holy Spirit is still in the business of transforming people if they so choose and if they want life. There is a way we can present the gospel in a loving manner, but a true manner without watering it down. I think it was Paul who said you have to be all things to all men. So that means that you are going to have to know how to minister to people without sometimes being a butthole. I'm just going to put it like that. And if you ever want a good story, there's a, is it the Corinthians or Athens? I can't remember. It was somewhere in Athens, I believe it was. And Paul went into the city and he said, I represent the unknown God. So they had like all these gods and they had one that was an unknown God. He didn't go in there and start picking on, well, y'all got all these false gods. That's not what he did. He said, I represent this God. This is the God I represent. He didn't even deal with the other ones because if you have enough wherewithal where God pricks their heart to listen to that word, the Holy Spirit will do its job at mentoring and transforming them the same way he did it with each one of us. I've been through some ups and downs to get to here. And as I look over my life, I realize that that journey brought me to here. The same journey that brought Joseph from the dreams to prison to second in command at Pharaoh's. He wasn't mature enough under daddy's house and in the field with his brothers. But by the time he went through prison and all the drama that Joseph went through, Joseph was humble enough and he was mature enough to then step into the position of second in command to Pharaoh. All of us have a journey. So how we interact with somebody else is critical. It's not saying we accept, but it is saying we will interact with you in a way that is somewhat loving. And I'm gonna say somewhat in the mean sense. What I'm saying is we can't sit there and tell you, oh yeah, everything you're doing is all right. It's not. Biblically, it does not line up with Christianity. You can choose to take pieces of this Bible if you want. But if you say you're Christian, you gotta believe in the whole thing. Otherwise, you're playing. Because it doesn't make any sense to say you're Christian. It doesn't. So you gotta start believing in the whole thing. And you have to be open to the journey that the Holy Spirit will take you through. I'm going to say that. So to my pronoun people, this is going to be a bit, and I do challenge you to pray about what you're thinking when you say you were born a certain way. Will we respect it? Will I respect that? Yeah, I respect what you want to be called. If you want to be called, let's say, if you want to be called a Cocker Spaniel, I'll call you a Cocker Spaniel. If I'm looking at a he and you want to be called a she, okay, she. Does not mean that I believe you are a she. And I will keep that in mind as I go through this journey. Assimilate. That's the word I was looking for. Assimilate. So as far as assimilating me into your thought process, I cannot. I'm not there because I don't necessarily agree. Because I don't agree at all. The reality of the matter is you were born physically a female or physically a male. How you feel, could be based on 5 million things. The little baby woke up and she felt like going into a school and killing nine-year-old children and adult teachers and did it. Does it make it right? No. She got the right to do it though, and she got the right to now be in a casket. Because you sow things, you will reap things. And if you don't end up in a casket, you're probably going to end up in a jail cell. Do I agree with what she did? Absolutely freaking not. Even though she felt that she needed to get up and go get some rifles and go and kill people. We have to really pray when we see these situations. And so for the pronouns, and like I said, they may block this, I don't know. I will respect it, but I don't necessarily agree with it. And I don't mean to be evil, but when you tell me you feel a certain way, I feel 80. Does that make me 80? No, it does not. I feel 107. Am I 107? No. There's mornings I get up, I'm 50 some years old, and these knees probably feel like they're 70. Am I 70? No, I'm 50 some years old. So I just challenge those of you who are now really, this is made for more to people who are struggling with this new concept and how it's being pushed that you are to use these new pronouns, that if you have a Christian belief system, you have to make your mind up whether it's, because I know for some people, they're like, folks are like, I'm not doing this. And they're losing jobs behind it, or the job is telling them two fingers rolling. Um, it's not my hope that that happens for any of you, because everybody needs livelihoods. And I don't know, and you got to pray on what the Lord shows you. To me, if that's what you have the free will to want, I will respect that. But it does not mean that I believe in what you believe in. It does not mean that I believe that because you feel you are a boy and you're a girl biologically, or you feel like you're a girl and you feel like you're a boy biologically, or that you don't want to be classified in a he or a she. Sorry guys, I got gnats. A he or a she category, that you can just, you know, decide you're one or the other, and you want to say I'm a thee or they or them. Now, from a Christian perspective, you might be a thee, they, or them, meaning you may have some other spiritual stuff going on board, and you might be dealing with several thee, theys, and thems. But when we look at you, we see a person, an individual. So now I got to call you they, I got to call you them when it's he or she. And this is how we've been raised up, even in the society, is that when we look at the words and we read a word, if I read, he went to the store and he got 2 apples. It doesn't say they. When it says they, it means a multiple group of people. Are you telling me that as one individual, it's a group of you? And I got to call you they, them? Doesn't make sense. So it is a conundrum. It is a twisted way of thinking. But like I said, someone is very good at their job. And assimilating people into a thought process that is odd. Yeah, but that's not the only place I'm seeing it. Like I said, I see it even in behaviors in my own culture, things that we did not accept. We're now accepting, and it's disturbing. There's a lot of disturbing things that are happening. So my question is, how are you guys dealing with this whole pronoun thing? Drop it in the comments below. And then I'm going to share the rest of my morning, because there's not a lot of talking on here. Um, I'm gonna go ahead and I was reading one of the comments. I'm gonna just state this. I really believe we're in a season. This morning I woke straight up at 7 a.m. this morning. I was like, okay, this is early for me because I work till midnight. I'm normally sleeping until about 11 or 12. And I woke straight up this morning and I got up and said, okay, let me go eat breakfast, go to the store. And when at the store, the way things happen, I was sitting there and I filled out some stuff and kind of figuring out my shopping scheme. They have a little Starbucks in there inside the store, sat down and figured that out. And then I went in there and I went through the vegetable aisle and I wanted fish. I had a craving for fish today. So I went and got some fish, and then I stopped down the pasta aisle, did that. Well, by the time I got to the register, my mind was, I'm going to go to self-checkout because it's quicker. Because normally now a lot of these stores don't have as many cashiers. Well, the lines for the cashiers were long up until I got right before the self-checkout, and there was one register where the line was very short. I'm like, whoa, let me jump in this line. So I jumped in the line. There was a guy with a bunch of bags in front, black guy, he's checking out. And then there's a guy that was in front of me with 2 big bottles of liquor, so he's gonna have a party. And he had a couple other things, but mainly his grocery haul was liquor. And then he put the little bar down for me to put my groceries on the belt. And so I said, thank you. I had one earbud in. I took one earbud out. I said, thank you. Well, the lady who was at the register, the cashier, and y'all forgive me, I need to change my battery in my fire alarm, but I haven't done it yet. And we're almost done with this video. So the lady who's at the register, she's like, how does she put it? She's telling people, bless you. And one of the couple that was leaving said, hey, we haven't seen you forever. And she said, oh, I was retired, but I had to come out of retirement. And so she's back to being a cashier at this grocery store. So obviously she must have been a cashier there before. I don't know her. I haven't frequented that grocery store in a long time. So I go every blue moon. It's not a one that I go to regularly. And because I'm stocked up, I don't have to go to the grocery store as much as other people anyway. So, and there's more coming, guys, on groceries, and there's going to be more coming on banking too. There's a bunch in my spirit right now. So as the guy gets on, he's getting his stuff, and I tell him thank you. And she's telling everybody, bless you, bless you. I'm like, this baby's Christian. So I get to me in the line, and there's nobody behind me. Nobody gets in our line, and the other lines are long. God ordained. So you get to me, and she's ringing everything up. I put my code in, and she said, how you doing today? I said, I'm awake but tired. And she's like, well, bless you, princess. And I said, well, bless you too, baby girl. And so all of a sudden we start talking, and it just came up, and she said something about things going on, and I said, he's coming back. She says, you can sense it too. I said, yes, I can sense it too. I said, and it feels really close. And she's like, yes. I said, I never thought I would live to see all of what we're seeing right now. And so me and this lady are having a massive Christian conversation at the register. This is the cashier and me. We began to just really talk about the Lord and what we're sensing is going on in the season. I say to her, I said, people are caught up into politics. Like everybody right now think Trump going to jail. I don't know. I don't care. The man is crazy. He needs Jesus. Need to pray for that baby. He got issues. And when you listen to his childhood, you understand why he's jacked up. That's why I don't hate him. I feel sorry for him. Again, enemy gets his foothold into children. That's why he's the way he is. He's jacked up because his childhood was jacked up. How he was reared was jacked up, or not reared, was jacked up. I got family members who I can tell hate this man. They focused on it. They caught up in the racial stuff. They caught up in the politics stuff. As Christians, guys, stop. Step back and watch. And your eyes should be, the Bible says, look up for your redemption draweth nigh. You should be studying your word. You should be aware of the times we're in, because it says, do not be in these times and be caught unaware. You shouldn't be unaware. It's in the book, this book. So I turn around, and me and her are going back and forth. Hey, Jaden, what's up, baby? We're going back and forth about, how you doing, by the way, about this word. We just sharing. And we're sharing the word back and forth. We're sharing this expectancy that we're feeling. And she's like, she says, and I don't know how people, I said, I don't know how they don't know either. I said, but be grateful. She says, and I just been praying that whatever the Lord has to do with me, do it with me, because I don't want to be, I'm with you. I don't want to, I'm one of the sons. Yes, he's one of my babies. He's one of my adopted children. It ain't a lot of people in here right now, Jaden. But I don't want to be left. And I said, Lord, my prayer has been, Lord, whatever you got to do, I don't be. And that's basically what this woman was saying, the same thing. She grabbed my hand. She said, bless you, bless you. I said, bless you too, baby. And what got me, happy birthday, baby. Happy birthday, right? Easter babies. Good time of the year. Look, good time of the year. How old we going to be, Mr. Jade, my son? We just need to be aware. We need to be ready, and don't get caught up, because all the stuff that's going on around you is distraction. Aware of it is fine. Don't get caught up in the politics of it. Oh, you a baby. You one of my sons, because you was a baby. Happy birthday, baby boy. Have a blessed day and be safe. Whatever you do, go and get yourself a good old, if your family ain't doing something for you, go take yourself out. Go get yourself a good meal. Chill out. Kick your feet back and relax and be thankful, because it's been a hell of 2 years. And if you ain't grateful to still be on this side, I mean, if you're on the other side and you're going in the right direction, you're okay. But on this side, you be blessed, because a lot of folks didn't make it this far. Okay, COVID took out a whole bunch of folks. And right now we got storms and everything else taking out a whole bunch of folks. So you are blessed and do whatever God has for you to do. But enjoy your day. And happy birthday, Easter baby. So, because Easter right around the corner. Yeah, go get something to eat. What's your favorite cake? I'm a red velvet. I don't like chocolate, but I'm a red velvet fan because I grew up. My aunt used to make one of my aunts used to make, and I love red velvet. Love it. But I'm weird because I like vanilla. People don't. I like vanilla ice cream. I like peach ice cream. But I'm not like some people love chocolate. Yeah. Oh, Jaden, it's the basis of ice cream. I'm like nothing can really be ice cream without vanilla. You have to flavor vanilla for it to be anything else. You got to change vanilla to chocolate. So if you don't like vanilla, I got a problem with you. It's just, I was like, and it's okay because the way you got chocolate was some vanilla. Okay, I'm sorry. You had to start with vanilla ice cream and you add chocolate to it. Not because I said it's like milk. They add the chocolate to the milk to make chocolate milk. I don't like chocolate milk, but yeah, there you go. Anyway, y'all, whatever you do, be blessed. Let me know what y'all think about the pronoun situation. Um, how are you handling it in your corporate arena? How are you handling it in your world? How are you handling it in your family? Because they're family members. Like I said, I got all of my family members. That's on my father's side. We got some people who consider themselves, I hate the word studs and all that other weirdness. Um, you got the folks doing all that. I was just talking about pronouns. I'm pretty much done with it because the company I work for, they just had us do a class on calling she's, he's, and he, she's, and they's, them, or he or she, they or them, because those are the pronouns they want to go by. And how are you dealing with that as a Christian? How are you dealing with that and wrapping your mind and not being assimilated, but being respectful and doing what you corporately have to do to keep your job without HR issues. So I know that the first time I ran into it in a corporate arena, we had a person claiming to be transgender, and and I'll use the word they loosely because I don't like the word they, but it was best way, physically a born girl and wanted to be called he, and was in the process of changing their name because they were going into becoming a male, and they started the hormones and all that other stuff. So it's like right now, even at my job, with my class, we had someone that was transitioning from, I don't know if they're transitioning, but definitely were born male and would dress up as a female. But you still have beard apparatuses, still got hair. I don't even know if they're doing the hormones. You could see the cup where they put stuff in the front if they were wearing a dress or even if they were wearing pants. You could tell this was a dude. But everybody want to call the individual she. And folks that would mess up, the person would get upset and mad because that's your thing. But I'm physically still seeing what I know to be a girl, I mean, a guy, as vice versa with the other company. So initially, like one of the people I know, this person was Christian, they like, I just stay away from the person. And that's sad as a whole too, because you can't interact with somebody because somebody wants you to be in a thought process that's theirs. And initially, now that we're trying to make this a norm, which I do not agree with, um, initially it was called I think gender dysphoria, which was like a psychological issue where you are a born individual this way, but you say, oh, I feel like I'm a woman or whatever, for whatever the purpose is. And like I said, again, someone who was in the lifestyle, not that particular lifestyle, but alternate lifestyle of the gay lifestyle, and now see what's going on, it is disconcerting. Because to me, you're forcing so I didn't force you to have to hang out with me when I was active in my stuff because you didn't have to. And if you didn't agree, you didn't agree. But now people are like mad, angry, belligerent, and evil if you don't, and that's what they were trying to deal with in our training, is that, oh, if you make the mistake and you call them, and then they're telling us, instead, just avoid it. which I thought was really funny because they said just try to avoid it altogether. Just don't even have a nice day. Don't have a nice day, ma'am. Don't have a nice day, sir. Have a nice day. And it's sad because you can't even do common courtesies, because if you do it now, and it's just, to me, it's making the world more buttholes and psychotic than what they already are. And it's an assimilation into insanity. I don't probably Jaden, from when I was coming off the truck. I've maintained, when I got back here to Phoenix, I've maintained what I've lost, but I haven't lost any additional. But I am looking at some things right now. I may start doing the intermittent fasting part. I'm still weighing the weight loss surgery. I've talked to people who had it. Most that I know have put back on their weight, but they've eaten around the surgery. Hey, Flatbed, what's up, baby? Thank you, sweetheart. They've eaten around the surgery, so I'm really praying on how I want to do it. If I could find a pool here in Arizona and it was close enough, I would probably do some like some like water aerobics, because that's better for my knees, as heavy as I am. But I have maintained pretty much and I did lose some after getting back here to Arizona. I've maintained what I lost after getting back here, but I haven't lost any more to my knowledge. Last time I was at my doctor, I think I weighed exactly the same. Although I had hit up into 460, and I think I was 440, 446 or 440 something. So I still got a ways to go. So yeah, I haven't done any extra. I haven't done any extra. But yeah. Let's see who all is in here. Flatbed, where you at in the country? And y'all, you know how you got something in your tooth? I went and ate pho, and I got something in my tooth. For those of you who are Christian, I'm gonna, oh, I love Salt Lake. Girl, Salt Lake is pretty. I don't know what trucking company you work for, but there's a Walmart over there in I think it's West Salt Lake? West Salt Lake. There's a Walmart over there, but there's also a pho restaurant that's not too far from the Swift Yard and Pride Transport. And I used to go to a little pho restaurant. Thank you, sweetie. I love my Jaden. That's one of my sons. This one, you know, you got something, you take a piece of paper, fold it, and get it out your teeth. But there's, I don't know if you, not pho, sushi place that I used to go to. What else was over there? There was a couple of little barbecue spot over there. Oh my God, there was a couple of restaurants you could bobtail to or get a Lyft or Uber over to it. And then there's that Walmart there. Where else did I go? I went to a couple of places, a movie theater, Capriati's. I'm at the Loves. Stars India 4. Where the heck is that? Are you at the New Loves there when you come in? There was a New Loves when you would come into Utah. It's not that far from the Walmart DC. Is that the one you're at? It's a brand spanking new Loves. I mean, I'm gonna say brand new, but I mean it's the newest Loves they had. Nice little big lot. Had a hotel across the street from it. I don't know if that's where you at. And Walmart DC. Well, there's a Walmart DC that ain't that far away from it. I think that's where, if that's where you at. I don't know if that's where you at. I don't know if yours is. But I love Utah though. Utah is pretty. I don't know if it's probably getting a little bit warmer. It's cooler than here because today we're supposed to hit 81 today. So I do need to get out in that back patio. I got to get my tomato plants planted. And you know, you got me thinking downtown Salt Lake. Downtown Salt Lake. They close downtown. So you got me thinking downtown Salt Lake. I don't know. I don't know where that was. Oh, I do know which one you're talking about. It's right off that freeway. It's tiny as heck. Hold on, is that the Pilot? Is that the Pilot or is that the Loves? I'm confused now. I know there's a little Pilot. There's a little restaurant. It might be Pilot. There's a little restaurant next door. I don't know the restaurant. was like a mom and pop restaurant. I never went to it. But if it's that one, okay. 80 and 15. I'm not sure right now. I don't know which one. Because I know there's a New Loves as you come in that's big, and there was a hotel next to it. I remember the Pilot. That's not very big. I think that's a Pilot. I'm trying to think if it's a Pilot or Loves. I think it was a Pilot. I could be wrong. It's been a while. Anyway, I like Salt Lake. I like their mountains. They're gorgeous. It's pretty. Coming in, but I don't miss trucking. I do miss travel, but I don't miss trucking. But no, I was talking about pronouns. Um, Not too much going on. I got to get back out in the garden. I'm gonna be putting together this couch. Once I put the couch is sitting right now. I'm sitting next to the box. So my goal is right now over here. I got a bunch of little big boxes and stuff I got to go through. Throw those out. Clean out this little section with some bags and stuff because the living room has just been a stock place. And then I'm gonna pull. I do have a little IKEA coffee table. I'm gonna pull that out and set the couch up. So the goal today is to work on this madness and to get the couch set up because I've been needing a couch and I've been watching this couch for a while. I don't know if y'all remember me talking about Nikki. Nikki was supposed to be selling her house, and then she had some furniture I was supposed to get, but I haven't heard from Nikki. I had heard that the house sale didn't happen. She decided to pull it off the market and was looking at renting it, but I haven't heard from her since to see what was going on. She had a lot going on, and the grandfather had moved out that she was helping take care of, and then dad passed away, so it's okay. She'll contact me when she contacts me. But I finally went ahead, and I've been watching this couch for almost a couple of years. Initial cost on Wayfair was like $1,899. Fluffy grandma did not spend that. I kept watching it, and our price fluctuated between $900 and $700. It finally came down to 500 and change. I have an afterpay account, so I did 100 and something down, which is like $140, and I got 3 more payments of $140, and it's paid off. And it's a really sturdy couch, and it holds up to over 900 pounds, so it'll hold my little fat butt and another individual. And then eventually, I want to get an oversized chair and ottoman, and then I want this chair called an egg chair, which I thought is very cute. It won't hold me, but I just think it's cute, and it'll probably hold Linda or Joe. So getting the place where it's more of a home instead of just like a place I stop in and stay like a truck. Because I've been living in this really like I'm living in a truck. Honestly, I just pretty much in my bed. I sit at the desk and that was it. Bed to desk, bed to desk. So now I'll be able to enjoy my living room, sit here and read. And I may end up doing, I'm not sure if I'm going to do a Bible study here in the house, but I may end up doing a live one. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see where the Lord leads. But that's what I was going to say. Guys, I'm going to be doing a study on Matthew. I know it's backwards, but it's the book of Matthew. This is who we're using life changes. I'll do another video on it with links below where you can get this off of Amazon or through a book called a website called Christian Book Distributors. And I'll be doing a link to how you can get linked into the study group. I'm going to be doing videos on this. Matter of fact, when I get off of here, I actually have to do an introductory video to start. I'm going to call it the lead in to start my Christian group on being ready for the study. With the lead in, I'll have links to, I'll probably find YouTube videos on here where you can actually listen to the book of Matthew. If you're interested, I will put the video together. I'm going to set up an email address for me, and then you let me know you're interested, and I'll get you tied into getting the links, because I am not doing it as a public Bible study. The reason I'm not doing it that way is like this video. I don't know, it might get blocked because of what we talked about. Who knows what their reasons are. Depends on how you handle stuff, because people are blocking you if you ain't saying what they want to hear. I don't know. But I'm going to say it in this video. If it gets blocked, it gets blocked. But I'll be putting that up, and then you guys can decide. And then there'll be topics that are Christian-based topics that I know may not be popular. And so if we do it public, YouTube could block it. I can still use YouTube in an unlisted format where they normally won't block unlisted videos, because I'm using it more for the groups. So I have a text group, and then I have the a Facebook group that's a private group on Facebook. And even on Facebook, I don't publish everything. I have an open Revelation Life group, but I have a private group. And with the private group, I actually put the links in there for videos that I unlist. I will put the unlisted video on the community page for the introduction and how to order the book through Amazon. I'm not getting kickbacks from Amazon. I'm not I used to be an affiliate. I'm not. I might end up getting it again for other stuff. I'm not sure. Um, but I'm going to do that. And then eventually, what I would like to do is a Zoom and possibly a live group here in Arizona. I'll have to pray on the live group because if it's anybody who reaches out for me from social media, I'm not going to have them at my house because you could get somebody who ain't all wrapped right. So I would set up a public area where we could meet or invite only certain people I knew. And then those that I don't know through social media would have to join us via Zoom. But I am thinking about doing it that way too. I'm praying. We'll see how the Lord leads on it. But for now, I'm going to be going over Matthew. And the reason I'm doing it is because there's a lot of people that I'm talking to who claim Christianity but have zero biblical foundation or understanding. And that's not to be mean, that's just facts. I can ask them questions like, oh, the Pharisees or Sadducees? They're like deer in the headlight, like I know what they're talking about. I can mention a popular scripture and they're like deer in the headlights, don't know what I'm talking about. I'm like, didn't you say you went to church growing up? No clue. I'm like, what were y'all doing in church? I don't know. I don't know. And then there's some who are part of certain Christian organization. Y'all know the ones with the beads and the rosaries. They don't know nothing about the Bible. A lot of them. I'm sorry, and there might be some. God forgive me if you come from that group, but a lot of y'all don't know not one thing about the Bible. Zero. I'm trying to figure out what y'all learned in that church because I'm like trying to figure it out. I'm like, okay, is it only just the religious rhetoric and you pray to Mary and y'all don't know nothing else? Y'all don't know. You praying to Mary, but you don't know about Jesus. Mary's not deity. Jesus is. I'm not understanding. I'm not understanding. So, and I'm not knocking you because I realize that's a whole nother trick of the enemy. But we're doing a Bible study that's going to get some foundational stuff that hopefully will help. So I'll be putting that up on email later. So be looking for that on the community board. I'm not going to put that like on the thing. I'm just going to put it on the community board and there'll be a link to the lead-in video and the introduction to it. And if you want more details and how to order the book, because I'm doing that today. I've talked about it on the Christian group, but I need to do a video where they know how to order the book and get that party started. Anyway, we're at 72 minutes, people. Y'all be blessed. Watch the previous video, put comments below, give it a like, thumbs out, share it out. Peace.